Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. And today I'm going to guide you through some gentle exercises that you can do we call tendon glides. In our hand there's lots of tendons. They attach to the tips of our fingers on the front and back of our hand. And because the hand does all these movements but there's not a lot of space in it, you find that most of those muscles are located in the forearm. It's a bit like the strings of a puppet. These tendons go all the way along the back of the hand, along the front of the hand as well. They can get tight, they can adaptively get stuck as well when they're mending. So by doing these exercises it can help to keep the hand moving. It can stop things from getting stuck together as things like scar tissue's mending. And if over time we've lost some of the range of movement of the hand, by doing these exercises it can actually improve that dexterity there as well. So you work at your pace, you always follow the guidance you've been given by your hand therapist or physiotherapist or doctor, and hopefully these will help to give you some guidance as well. So the first exercise we're going to do is one of the wrists. It's going to be a movement of gliding back and forwards, a bit like we're trying to cast a spell. And my elbow is going to remain resting on the table. My forearm stays pointing up to the ceiling. I'm going to let the wrist go floppy as it drops back. And notice my fingers are curled up there. And as I do the other movement, as I bring the wrist in the opposite direction, I let those fingers naturally come out on their own. So we do 10 of those, back and forwards at your own pace. There we go. So that was the first of our tendon glide exercises. I also want to make sure that we don't get stiff in the thumb. So whilst it's not strictly in the tendon glide group that we're going to do a gentle thumb exercise now. So with your palm nice and flat, either resting flat on a table or up in front of you, what I want you to try and do for me is spread the thumb out nice and wide and then bring it across the palm to the base of the little finger. And again, out nice and wide, and then across the palm to the base of the little finger. And it might be you can't go quite as far as that. If you're restricted, you might even adapt the exercise to just practicing touching the tips of each finger, working slowly towards the base of the little finger. And for where you're at, that might be your limitation that you slowly build on. But if you're able to, bringing the thumb across the palm and then back. That's good. And relax again. We also want to make sure that the fingers don't get tight either. So what we're going to do now, a bit like a jazz hand, we're going to spread those fingers apart. And that's a movement that we call abduction. So we abduct the fingers, spreading them nice and far apart, and then back together again. Okay, that's great. So that was finger abduction. So the next exercise we're going to do for the hand is one we call the bird beak. So we're going to take our hand, again, elbow resting on the table, wrist nice and straight, and what I'm looking to try and do is keeping the fingers straight, make a nice 90-degree angle at the knuckles there. So it's a little bit like a bird's beak, and then open back up again. So if you find when you're doing the bird beak that your fingers are struggling to straighten either one or all of them, the way we can actually make that slightly more effective is by offering a little bit of support on the top of the fingers there. Again, always follow the guidance of your physio or hand therapist, but by adding that sort of block over the top of the fingers there with the other hand, it can actually make it more of a straightened finger and give us that little bit of support or a gentle stretch there. And then relax. So that was the bird beak exercise. So the next exercise we're going to do is one called a tiger's claw. I'm going to start with my elbow resting on the table again. I've got a nice vertical position for my forearm, and I'm going to keep my knuckles nice and straight with this one. I'm going to apply some pressure just at the front of the knuckles there, and I'm going to try and do a position like a tiger's claw. So effectively I'm trying to bring the nails down to the base of the fingers there. It's a bit like a tiger or a lion. I've made a claw position there, and then relax. So again, we're aiming for about 10 of those, and again, you might need to give a little bit of support. And sometimes people even use something like a beer mat or a coaster to just block in front of the knuckles there. And each time we're doing this, we're trying to bring those fingertips down to the base of the finger, so the knuckles remain straight, but the fingers are doing all of the bending. And that was the tiger's claw. The next exercise we're going to do is a fist clench. So we're going to start at the tips of the fingers, roll those fingers down, and try and make a fully formed fist. And then slowly back open again. And again, sometimes when we've become quite stiff with this, it might be feel restricted. If you do add any resistance, it would be a pushing downwards movement. So we're just trying to make a nice level area there, making sure those nails come into the crease of the palm there. And we'll progress on from the fist clenching exercise to one last exercise to finish off with, and that's fingers flat to the palm. So can you see, rather than just making a fist now, what I'm trying to do is get my fingertips so they're all flat to the palm of my hand there. And again, so I open the hand up and trying to make the fingers flat to the palm there. This is actually quite a significant amount of lengthening that's required of the tendons going along the back of the hand there, so you might well feel quite tight with this. And if you can't do that at the moment, then obviously focus on the other ones to begin with. So we take our fingers from a nice flat position, we maintain that position of the wrist, and bringing those fingers flat to the palm, and then back open again. And there you go. That was some tendon glide exercises for your fingers, hand and wrist. How was it? Hopefully it was useful. If it was, don't forget to click the like button, and if you wanted to give some feedback or suggestions, then leave a comment below. And if you're interested in keeping up to date with all of my latest content, then click the subscribe button. Hopefully I'll keep lots of videos coming your way. And if you're interested in doing any other wrist and hand exercises, I've also recorded a series of exercises to improve the stability of the wrist. So if you click the link above, that will take you to those. And thanks for watching, and goodbye.